like you said, the right is very fractured. That's because the right is a coalition of groups that are against the left. Like there is no unanimity of opinion amongst the right. In fact, it's just the opposite.
I think I agree with you in principle that the right wing has become the counterculture, but it sure seems like the counterculture is awful fractured. Right wingers can't seem to agree on what an identifier for what their actual goal is to conserve. Progressives are very easy. It's very easy for them to unify, I think, around certain ideas because almost anything that's change is progressive, right? Almost
Hmm.
any type of change is a progressive value. So I think that the ball's kind of in their court, especially with the way the Constitution is written. We're kind of using Enlightenment thinking that it's always going to be moving towards progress, and progress is change, and they kind of use these two terms interchangeably.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, as far as trying to conserve it, how long do you have to conserve something before it necessarily change? I don't think that long.
No, and also, like you said, the right is very fractured. That's because the right is a coalition of groups that are against the left. Like there is no unanimity of opinion amongst the right. In fact, it's just the opposite. Like almost every group on the right will talk shit about the other groups on the right as being like, oh no, they're not the real right. Like someone like Ben Shapiro, he'll claim that he's like a true conservative, and that people like us are ridiculous. We're a sick minority, among the right that they wish we weren't a part of. And I mean, he's generally right that we're not like him at all. But at the same time, we both want the same thing, which is the destruction of the commie left. So it's
But
not that we're not conserving anything. There's nothing left to conserve. Like the country
right, well,
died. It's been dead for a while now. There's
I don't
nothing
I
left
don't
for us to look
disagree.
at and go,
Sure.
oh, we need this back or that back. What is it? Like what is it that we're bringing back? You
There
know,
is one thing left to conserve,
which is
which is the Bible and the church. That's the one thing left that can be conserved because the majority of the nation still considers it to be a Christian nation, identify as Christian. That can still be conserved. The values can still be conserved. But I largely agree with you. Everything else has been lost to the left. So all institutions have been lost except the church. All institutions have been lost, from our grasp, and we don't even politicize the church anymore. So,
mm-hmm.
chances are good that with the amount of LGBTQ inclusiveness and this type of thing, that also is going to soon be lost. But I guess what I'm after isn't to say that the left isn't fractured in the same way, because in a way it is. The sock Dems hate the communists, and the communists hate the this type of socialist, and the utilitarians hate the deontological, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah blah. But I guess at the core of it, when you say we're trying to conserve and they're trying to change as progress, pretty much they're going to win no matter what, right? Like it just
I
at the
mean,
core, fractured or not, the change is going to happen. So necessarily they're going to win, at least for a good long while.
they're going to win, but it depends on how you define winning. Like, are they going to control the major cities and the major levers of government? Yes, like they're going to win that. But what you're also finding is a much more lawless population that lives in the red states. Like the red states just don't care what's going on in the blue areas. And when all's said and done, the blue areas don't have that much control. Like the only way that they could control the red states is A, by acquiescence, if the red states let them, or B, if they try to use some kind of military power, which I don't believe would work. I think they could try. I just don't think that the military would even want to get involved in that. And it's
Well,
not as
that's
easy when
posse
you got as many
comitatus,
fire.
right?
Well, we could say they're not allowed to, but that's silly because they do things they're not allowed to do all the time. But at the same time, I mean, with the amount of guns and ammo and everything in this country, it would be very difficult for the left to try to institute what they want by force.
Well, they don't really need to anyway, right?
No,
Coercion works better.
because what they would just prefer is that we go away, but that we still give our money to them because their population is majoritively useless. So what they want is us to make sure that we're giving money, that we're giving our taxes, we're doing our jobs because the economy has to stay afloat somehow. You know, a bunch of hippies from San Francisco are not keeping the economy afloat. You know, we have to be the kind of cannon fodder for them to be able to institute what they want. But until that time, like, they would much rather we just kind of fuck off.